right, gang, welcome in. We're talking a little OTAs. We finally got some stuff going on at Jets camp, or Jets stuff in general on the field, because we've all been off the field the last bunch of months. So we can finally start talking about some stuff. I got some context to add about, this week up here in the Northeast, if you guys don't live in the area, and then also some thoughts, good, bad, and some notes that I made on what I've been seeing, things that I like, things that I don't like, that sort of stuff. So without further ado, let's jump into this. The weather up here in the Northeast has been terrible. It has rained like the entire week, which means that is not super great conditions for offensive play. So I would expect, based on the weather, that the defense should have a little bit more of an upper hand here. Not to mention, the O-line is going to take a little bit to gel anyway. Obviously, most of the pieces on the offensive line are still together. Membu's the new piece on the right-hand side, but you got a new guy under center in Fields. So not to mention a new blocking scheme, offensive coaching staff. It's going to take some time to kind of figure this whole thing out. But this is all practices that have happened in helmets and shorts. There's no pads on yet, so there's a lot of take this stuff with a grain of salt. A lot of the positive things that I see being touted right now are, I sort of take the opposite view of that. It's weird. Like when I hear the defense is getting a lot of sacks, I don't view it so much as, wow, this defense is going to look so good. I view it more as like, okay, what's going wrong with the starters on the offensive side, and what could be the hurdles there? Because that's what I'd like to clean up. And then when you start seeing things when full pads are on, then you can get a little bit better of an assessment. According to the Jets, Will McDonald has added 15 pounds of muscle. That's something that Ulbrich and Saleh has tried to do prior to their departure here with the Jets. I think this is a good look for Will McDonald. Obviously, I want to see him on the field more consistently. I don't want him to just kind of be boxed into that situational pass rusher side of things. I want him to be more of a well-rounded, not a liability against the run or anything like that. So I think 15 pounds is fine. Maybe there's some concern from some fans of seeing Michael Clemens go from a smaller weight to a higher weight, and that kind of impacted how his play went from year 1 to years 2 and 3. I don't think you're going to see the same thing with Will McDonald. I think he was so fast and so lean that 15 pounds isn't going to do a whole crazy ton. Apparently he had 3 sacks, which very, very cool. Good to see for him, but then it makes, bodes the question, who is he going against? Is he going against the backups? Is he going against the starters? During the 11-on-11 drills, there was apparently 5 or 6 sacks in the 10 dropbacks that Justin Fields had, which is not good. Bad math. Not a good ratio there. So it does beg the question, these protection breakdowns, as Connor Hughes put it, why is this happening? Is it the new offensive scheme? Is it Justin Fields just learning to play with this new offensive line? How are these sacks happening? That's something that I would love to know a little bit more of. Now, of the 4 other plays that were not sacks, Justin Fields went 3 of 4. The 2 dump-offs to Breece Hall, there was a short pass to Wilson, and then there was a bad miss to Reynolds. So not a great start for the Jets offense right now, but that's okay. I think it's going to take a little bit of time for that to kind of start clicking. So we'll keep an eye on it over the next few weeks here. Things I did like, 100% participation. Now, the Jets have had a large amount of participation in the last few years, but obviously last year with Aaron Rodgers missing, it was 2 mandatory practices. I think it was in July, if I'm not mistaken. He was actually at the OTAs last year and the year before. But it is nice to see everyone buying in on the team, right? They're voluntary, organized team activities, but voluntary means you got to be there. That's what we were always taught. Quinnen Williams taking responsibility for his comments shortly after Rodgers was released, or the Jets weren't going to move on, or were planning to move on from Rodgers. He said something along the lines of oh, great, another rebuild. Here we come. He realizes he's a leader. He owned up to his mistakes. Said, hey, look, bad thing to say. I'm going to learn and grow from this as a person, as a human, as a player, as a leader. Love it. Love that from Quinnen. Take responsibility. This is a good look for Quinnen for sure. I loved hearing Garrett Wilson says he wants to be a Jet for life. The vibe around Garrett Wilson ever since the whole Rodgers thing kind of exploded last year has been Garrett Wilson wants to get out of the Jets when Rodgers is here. Rodgers leaves. Now he wants to be a Jet for life. It's very for anyone looking at the outside, if you're saying, do you think Garrett Wilson would rather play with Aaron Rodgers or Justin Fields? You would think it's Aaron Rodgers because of the passing acumen and whatnot, across the board. But it seems like Garrett and Fields just really have a nice connection. Not so much, the statistically that you might be passionate about, but I don't know. There's just, it feels like this team, I like when guys play together for a long time. I like the chemistry, I like the brotherhood, and I feel like Rodgers was his own guy, and then the rest of the team, where like Fields feels like he's part of the team, and I think Garrett feels like he's part of the team, and they're obviously going to highlight Garrett a lot this year. Aaron Glenn was saying that they want to feed the ball to Garrett, which just makes a ton of sense. We don't really have a wide receiver too. You're talking maybe Lazard or Corley or maybe the tight ends as that second receiving option. But I like this. Garrett Wilson should be a lifetime Jet. I hope they get the contract done this year. It would be really nice to kind of put that beyond us. He's allowed to renegotiate his contract now. Rich Cimini had, brought up like, hey, why are, I forgot the exact quote, but it was something along the lines of like, you're up for a contract. Some guys will be holding out. You're not holding out. And Garrett's basically saying like, I want to do the right thing. It's important to me to be with the guys, to learn my coaches, to learn my teammates, and to he's doing all the right things. Pay the guy. Make sure this guy's a lifetime Jet. He's being a good dude. I really like how Glenn described Fields. This was a Bill Parcells-esque quote, or it might be an exact quote from Parcells that Glenn is just using. He's not out there trying to be a celebrity quarterback. He's out there busting his ass, which like definitely a shot at Aaron Rodgers for sure. And look, I mean, even the last, Zach Wilson before that very much felt like a star quarterback mentality. Sam, I didn't get so much that same vibe from, but very much a dig at Aaron Rodgers, out the door. Fields coming in definitely feels like he has to earn it. There's not like, yeah, he's got the big contract and big relatively so. And, he's going to be our starter this year, but like, you don't know what happens long-term. And I think Fields recognizes that. And I think there's an appreciation and a symbiosis that's going on with the New York Jets. So I do like that. The two notes that I had, one, if you guys have been watching any of the pictures or videos from camp, you're seeing the camera on the front of Justin Fields' head. And from my understanding is there's some teams that will do like a VR studying, I guess, with cameras and whatnot. So maybe this is something like that, or they're just trying to gauge where Fields is like going through in his progressions. I really like that side of things because any type of technology that can help you perform better at your job, you should 100% be utilizing. And this is not something that we've seen from the Jets and, at all. I don't know when this camera stuff started happening, but I like the idea of possibly being able to learn a little bit more or maybe help Fields a little bit more based on where he's going through his progressions at what time. And then, I don't know, just extra context. I like that. The second thing, I've been hearing a little bit about Josh Myers running with the ones. Josh Myers is the center we got from Green Bay who played with Justin Fields at Ohio State. I've been saying for a while, this has a weird smell to it because Josh Myers didn't sign a big contract, but he did sign a Pro Bowl incentive-laden contract, which sort of feels weird for a backup. How many backups have Pro Bowl incentives? Maybe they do, and I'm just totally missing it, but it was super funky to see this one. Not to mention that the conversation with Muji and the offensive line, they were saying that Myers is going to push Tippmann, and it feels weird to say that when Tippmann was your second round draft pick, has started at center the last few years. It's just it's a little odd. My guess is going to be that Myers is going to get Fields comfortable until the rest of the offensive line figures out this offensive scheme, and I would have to imagine Tippmann's going to end up winning this job at the end of it. If not, you're kind of in this weird spot where like Tippmann's definitely one of your best guards, but are you going to wind up, swapping out Simpson or swapping out AVT? Are you just putting the best 5 offensive linemen out there? Something to at least keep an eye on. Guys, if you did not know, we are going to be doing a really fun event down at the shore for Bazaar. It's going to be really cool. We're going to have some details released in the next, probably week or two, once we get an idea of what our group buy is going to be. We're planning, I think, myself, O'Leary, and Green Bean to do the Jets-Steelers group buy week 1. We'll let you know all that information once it's like actually ironclad. But keep an eye out. Bazaar, September 6th. Home opener, September 7th. So if you guys want to come out for that and hang out and tailgate and whatnot, make sure you figure out all the information on that. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, go Jets. Just because some of my takes may stink doesn't mean you guys have to stink. And that's where the sponsor of today's video comes in. Mando reached out and said, Ryan, your team has stunk for a very long time. So we know that you understand what stinking is. And I said, yeah, absolutely. They're like, so bad, in fact, that we think we can smell you through the camera. And I was like, man, that's very aggressive. Thank you. But what do I got to do? They're like, hey, we're going to send you out some product. We want you to test it out. We want you to be honest with your audience. And then if you like it, offer up a promo code. I was like, all right, cool. So they sent me out the starter pack. I got the Mount Fuji deodorant. Really enjoy that. Put that on every day. In the summer, I've got what is known as a chafing problem, like 2 chestnuts over a roasting fire type problem. This stuff can be put on anything. Your feet, your butt crack, your grundle, your armpits, your hands, boobies, rolls, under boobies, anywhere. This stuff is totally safe. And throwing this on the chafing areas, very, very appreciated. It comes with 2 free gifts as well. I chose the bourbon leather body wash. Becca has really liked that, but I think my favorite thing in the pack is honestly the deodorant wipes. I throw this in my to-go bag and I can just freshen up no matter where I am throughout my day. And maybe I was just yelling at a camera underneath some hot lights and I just need to look a little bit nicer, smell a little bit nicer when I walk out of the cockpit here. So guys, if you want to get in on this, I've really enjoyed it. Shopmando.com, promo code JetsTalk. That's shopmando.com, promo code JetsTalk is going to get you $5 off. That's a 40% off savings on their starter pack. Thank you so much for sponsoring the channel.